Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and I happen to have Josh Treadaway with me again. Hey, buddy.
What's up?
Hey, listen, I just got back from vacation, living out a childhood dream of getting on the Millennium Falcon.
Yes. I first, quick, before you go into deep detail that makes me want to throw up because I'm jealous. I want you to know that last night I attempted to listen to the 119-minute podcast that you and Deloris had, and you purposely held the Star Wars stuff till the end, and I end up passing out on the couch just as you were getting to the Star Wars stuff. So I don't even know what's about to be said, and I'm very angry. I was hoping that I would have it already in my head so I couldn't be as jealous, but it didn't work out that way. So
well, let me just start off by saying,
yes, you dirty, rotten, Darksaber mother. Okay, I'll keep it PG today.
It's a Darksaber.
I may hang up on you if you keep that in the screen too much longer.
How cool is that?
That's freaking sweet.
It's Hasbro. It's like $40. It's all plasticky, but it's
a Darksaber.
It's a Darksaber, and it's got a little button right here. You press it, and it goes. How silly is that? That's so great.
I'm so jealous right now. I really don't. I might not want to finish this podcast.
Oh, it's so fun.
I know it's just going to get better.
They had they also had an Ezra Bridgard one with the gun.
With the gun?
Yeah. But I was like, I got to pick one. I can't see the point in buying both. I mean, that's just silly.
Yeah, you got to go with the Darksaber.
Well, I mean, because a lot of our conversations are on The Mandalorian and Boba Fett and the whole thing with the story. And
I
Deloris made a point. She was like, with the Darksaber, you could do something behind you, like mount it up here or something. It'd be kind of cool. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's kind of cool. It's
you got to mount it by the light that Greg sent you.
Well, that's across the room. I kind of want this to maybe be unseen.
I got you. I was just saying, Mandalorian.
That was kind of a fun thing that happened that just, it wasn't planned. We just happened to be walking around. None of the things that we did for spending money was really planned. This was a total budget trip, total. We did it on Disney points, so it didn't cost us anything. Literally, we went down there free and stayed at a resort called Pop Century. It was fine. It had a Murphy bed that pulled down from the wall. Good location. Got on these gondola things that were really smooth. Basically, from our room to walk into Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios was 15 minutes. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that right now COVID is going on and there's a pandemic and there's a 35% capacity cap that they're not letting but so many people in. And you have to walk around with a mask, which I got a Star Wars mask too. I got in the other room. It just says Star Wars and it's got like graphics. There's YouTube videos. I walked into Galaxy's Edge and I kept telling my wife over and over again, I said, man, if 12-year-old me could see me now. I was geeking out, dude, big time. And when we went over there, it was totally not planned to go the first day. Like first day we showed up, we'd literally left her parents' house at 6:45 in the morning. And we drove onto the property. We got there at about 11 and tried to get into the room and the room wasn't ready yet. And I was like, well, what do we do? And she's like, well, I got reservations for us to go to Animal Kingdom. Because Animal Kingdom, right now there's only 7 rides there. Again, at 35% capacity means that the longest wait we would have is maybe 25 minutes. They have that Avatar ride, the Flight of Passage, where you get on the flying Banshee and you're flying in this whole simulator thing. That had like a 20-minute wait, and it wasn't even a 20-minute wait. It took 20 minutes to walk from the beginning all the way through all the ropes and stuff to get on the ride, and we never stopped. It was like, oh, we're on the ride. We did the whole park, even did some new gorilla experience thing that we'd never seen before, and some kind of Rafiki's wildlife adventure that we'd never seen before. We never even knew it was there, but we did it. It was great, especially the gorilla thing. That was really cool. Got to ride Mount Everest twice and basically didn't stop in our line to get and ride it again. Just rode it and it was like, let's do it again. And we did it again. The only reason we left the park at that time was we had rode everything by 3:00. We got in there at about close to noon, and within 3.5 hours, we rode everything in the park. And I was cold because I was wearing shorts. When we showed up, it was 65, and by the time we were getting ready to leave, it was like 54. The wind was coming through. The cold front that we've all had was starting to eke its way down into Florida. And so we're like, all right, I really screwed up. I should have put on pants, which she kept telling me, you should put on pants, and I said, now you can say, I told you so. We got back in the car. We drove back over to our hotel. We got checked. We already had our magic bands because we had gone there first to get our magic bands, which unlocks the door. We found out which room it was and tapped our bands. We were in the room. I did a walkthrough video of that. I got dressed. She was like, I really want to get on these Skyliner things and see where it's at, because our next day was supposed to be going to Hollywood Studios to see Galaxy's Edge. Like our whole point was this new ride, Rise of the Resistance. Now, the ride is difficult in a lot of ways because I imagine that when they're 100% capacity, it's very, very hard to get on the ride. Even at 35% capacity, there was a risk that we wouldn't get on. So it's all done through some app on your phone called My Disney app. And at 7 a.m., you have to be not linked into Wi-Fi. You have to completely cut Wi-Fi off and ding off your cell phone tower, go onto the app, have your party pre-selected, and hit join, and just hope you get in. Like it fills up within a minute, every queue. So they do queues twice a day. They do it once in the morning at 7, and then they do it again at 1. Now, you don't have to be in the park to do it in the morning. You just have to be on at 7 and hit join. And the first day, I think we got in group 47. The second time we did it was the last day. We got in group 50, and that was joining at 7, immediately at 7. Wow. Now, if you join the 1:00, you have to be in the park, and it helps to be in Galaxy's Edge and try to join at 1:00. And like, if you have a party of people, you can't all try to do it. Like, only one person can do it. If all of you are in it, it kicks everybody out of the queue. So it's temperamental. It's a risk. I mean, and like I said, even with 35% capacity, it was one of those things where we're like, oh God, I really hope we get in this, because this is kind of the whole point of this. So like I said, first day, we ride the gondolas over there just to see how long it was going to take to get from our room to Hollywood Studios.
Sure.
And we never rode the Skyliner, and it was like one of those things of, let's just see. So as we're on the Skyliner, I pull up the app, and it's got a map, and it tells you the queue and the wait times for every ride. And I'm looking at it, and I can see the Millennium Falcon from space on the little map. and it says 20-minute wait. And I was like, is it because it's cold? Like, everybody like us left the park? Can we get in there? And she's like, yeah, we got Park Hopper. I was like, we could get on this. We could get on it and ride it today. She's like, yeah. I was like, so we walked literally, to the thing, got on the gondola, rode over, and was in Galaxy's Edge in 15 minutes, and got over to Smuggler's Run. We walked around the corner trying to find this thing, and it's kind of hidden to find it. You have to kind of walk through Batuu in these little areas, and it's sort of snuck away, and it's so immersive. Everything is so immersive. But then I could turn around the corner, and there's the Millennium Falcon, and I'm like, oh! Like, I know people listening right now are like, don't do that sound. Please stop that.
I know that's the sound you actually did.
I freaked out. I was like, and I'm thinking, photos, video, don't forget to like film this. This is content. So I'm geeking out. I'm hyperventilating with the stupid mask on because I'm trying to breathe through it. And I'm fat and out of shape. So I'm like, holy cow, look at it. Like, you can see my mask sucking into my face while I'm trying to breathe. And we walked right on the ride, like immediately. They put us in the Millennium Falcon with a mom and her 2 kids, and they've got it set up where there's plexiglass in there now to kind of separate people so that they're safe, and everybody's wearing masks and everybody's being safe, and they're constantly cleaning things and re-cleaning things, and there's hand sanitizer everywhere. And I swear there's a lot of people that are just addicted to touching the hand sanitizer. Like, they can't just not pass by every single one and reach out their hands. And I watched that over and over and over again. I was like, you didn't touch anything. Stop it. Stop doing that. But it's like an OCD thing. A lot of people are just really obsessed with it. So anyway, we get on this ride with this mom and her 2 kids, and they have it set up where if you don't fill up every seat, there's 6 seats in there. You got 2 for the pilot, obviously Han and Chewie. You got 2 for the guns. Usually the kids are the guns because they can just tap a button and it makes the thing shoot. And you got two for the engineers, and the engineers have all kinds of buttons that you press in to make things happen, to fix things that are broken and to keep things up and shields up and this and that. And if you're Han Solo, your joystick moves side to side, and you have the ability to crash the Millennium Falcon if you're not careful. You can run into things. On the right side, you're Chewie, and not only do you get to go into hyperspace, but you have the ability to go up or down. So again, you can crash it. What I found out is my wife is a terrible pilot. My wife has never played video games that require you to fly, and she kept going, I don't know what we're doing wrong. I'm like, you're going the wrong way. Go the other way. And like, it's showing damage and stuff. And at the end, Hondo's like, he barely made it with 20% of your ship left. You know, I was like, this one over here. I was like, Treadaway and I would be like, do it, punch it. You know, they'd be giving us high fives and high scores, and maybe want to take our picture, you know. So anyway, yeah. So I was taking pictures. I totally geeked out. My wife and I both did some video. I've been loading video since I got home, literally every minute since I got home. And I purposely saved a video for later that's going to pop up at 2:00. Okay.
At 2:00. Okay.
This will be a teaser, so everybody listens to the rest of the podcast, because I'm going to do it to the end. So anyway, totally worth it. Totally fun. Totally awesome. We got back to the room after the park closed. Like literally, we walked around Batu. We were like, you know, geeks, just taking pictures everywhere. And oh my God, do you see that? Oh my God, do you see that? Looking at the little My Disney app, we noticed that Toy Story Land was right next to us. And Slinky Dog is like this roller coaster thing. And it's like, oh, there's a 20-minute wait there. Let's go ride Slinky Dog. I love Slinky Dog. So we rode Slinky Dog, and then we rode this Toy Story Mania, which is like a video game that's like a fun ride. You spin around and you shoot things at a screen. It's all 3D. It's really cool. And then we ran a corner, and they have a new ride that's the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, where you're basically in a cartoon. Like you're in the cartoon. They do some kind of weird thing with the walls with digital mapping, so that it looks like all of the characters are 3-dimensional and interacting with you. It's crazy. Like if I were the kind of person that would smoke dope, this would be the smoking dope ride that you'd be like, dude, or acid or something like that. I mean, I could see where a druggie would be like, this is the greatest ever. Even me, like sober, I was like, oh, this is so awesome. Like a kid in line asked me after we rode it 4 times. He was in line. He asked his mom, he's like, what's this ride like? She's like, I don't know. I said, it's like you're in a cartoon. And he goes, for real? I was like, it is awesome. He was I'm 46 years old, and this is awesome. I'm telling you, it's awesome. And the mom was like, okay. But it's really cool. Had it not been for Rise of the Resistance being Star Wars related and as cool as it was, Mickey's Runaway Railway would have been the best ride we rode. It was awesome. Both of them are on a trackless system that uses magnets in the floor, so that each one of your cars does something completely independent of each other. So you're in a car with like maybe 4 or 5 people, and they all do things independently, and they all move. And every time you ride it, you get a different experience. There's different stuff you see. There's different pathways you take. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't even see that the last time we rode it. So Rise of the Resistance. We got up the next morning at 7 a.m. Boom, we're in the queue. It shows you like, your estimated time is around 11:30. Okay, we can go back to sleep. So we went back to sleep, got up, had some coffee, took our time. It was like, this is leisure. All right, cool. Let's just stroll on in there. We strolled in. We rode the ride. It was really awesome. We purposely didn't film anything the first time we rode it because we wanted to just experience it.
Experience it, right.
Because we'd seen enough YouTube videos to know that it was super immersive, and there's stuff to see in all directions. And let me tell you, it was. When you first walk into that room with the stormtroopers, and there's certain ones of them moving and interacting with each one, and you're like, oh, this is so cool. Like they have the big spaceport where there's space outside, and like there's a TIE fighter up on the wall, and you're just like, I'm in the movie. But then you're on the ship, and like there's a thing where Kylo Ren is trying to get information from you, and like you get a rescue, and then you're on this ship with like an M5 droid that's driving your ship around. And like we rode it twice, and each time we rode it, it was a completely different pathway we took, and a completely different experience. At one point, you go up underneath AT-ATs in the spaceship, and the second time we rode it, we were face to face with an AT-AT as we went up an elevator, and it shot at us, and I caught the thing on camera with it shooting at us and laser beams going above our head. I was like, "That is so cool!" Like, I was wigging out, man. And
I'm wigging out, and I haven't even seen it.
I wanted to show all of it to you, so I did film it the second time, and that's on YouTube. So you can go on YouTube and watch that crap because it was so amazing. I did one of the full walkthrough from us getting on the ride, every step of the walkway. Because there's stuff like interactive there's things when you go into the line of like flight suits and star patterns and charts and stuff like that, and all kind of neat stuff to look at. There's interactions with the cast because they're in character. They're supposed to be part of the First Order, so they're kind of. But it's weird because they're all being safe too. So they have the mask on and they have a face shield to protect them from getting any kind of spray or splatter from people sneezing or whatever.
Sure.
So their voices are a little bit muffled, and I wish they had like a microphone system built into it. But they were in character, so I mean, you got a little bit of that. So I did a long version and I did a short version. So if you just want to watch the ride, there's the short version, and then I got the long version, which is the full experience, and that's everything. That's all of it included. So total fun, total awesome. And I met up with a fellow YouTuber while I was down there, a guy named Eric Polston, who gave me a gift that I totally wasn't expecting. And it's a First Order hat. Looky.
Oh, that's cool.
So I made a fun video playing around with this hat because I don't know why I put it on and suddenly I was a character and I was just pretending to be the character. So,
well, you got to.
This is a neat little gift. We went around downtown Disney, and there was lots of store stuff to look at that had really cool Star Wars stuff for sale. I made a comment to Deloris, though, that they're really missing out on merchandise from the Mandalorian Series 2. There was no Boba Fett. There was no Ahsoka Tano. We went into a lightsaber place and looked around, and I heard someone ask, do you have any Ahsoka Tano? Oh, no, we're all sold out of Ahsoka Tano. I was like, somebody really misgauged the popularity of that. But
well, they just announced that your boys are the only ones that are going to be doing Ahsoka.
Okay, good.
They just announced that they will be the only ones that write Ahsoka's story.
It should be. I mean, Dave Filoni created that character.
Right. So I mean, it's Filoni and it's Favreau.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're taking care of the Ahsoka Tano series, which
he's so money and he don't even know it.
Yeah. And I get your reference.
Yeah.
He was Swingers.
Swingers, yeah.
Swingers, baby.
So
y'all grows up.
It was so much fun to be there. It was pleasant in the fact that there was way less people. It was pleasant in the fact that you could get on every ride without having to wait too long. The longest line we had was at Magic Kingdom. They have a roller coaster there called Seven Doors Mine Train, which is you're in not Cinderella, Snow White. And it's just cool little ride in Fantasyland, and it was like a 45-minute wait for that. Other than that, everything else was almost walk onto it. Space Mountain, we walked in the park, walked straight through the line, was on the ride. I was like, this is great. It was great.
When I was listening to your podcast with her last night, I'm telling you, y'all talk about Tim Tracker all the time, that y'all watch Tim Tracker. You two need to have that shared and start your own, because that was perfect. I mean, the people who've never been to the park or really love going to the park would love to hear what y'all were saying. Because I mean, that was so informational. And because you guys know the park so well, and she knows it so well, that she was able to talk about things like you're talking about, like, Space Mountain, usually it's probably a 2-3 hour wait.
Yeah.
And then the whole app thing.
On that one, we teased the Star Wars stuff to the end because I figured a lot of people would listen to Star Wars stuff and then they wouldn't listen anymore. But I kept saying, no, let's wait till the end. Let's drag it out.
I knew you teased it. And like I said, I waited for it. And I fell asleep on the couch right as you started to talk about it.
I know. She kept saying, how long is this? And I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, we literally drove, I want to say, we did the podcast all the way from Savannah or just outside of Jacksonville, almost all the way back to Florence. I mean, it was like 2 hours of just talking.
Yeah, it's like 111 minutes, I think, was the total time.
Yeah, it was long. But she's like, no one's going to listen this long. I was like, everyone listens this long. Trust me. The longer the content, the more people are into it, especially if it's about something that's interesting.
Listen, they listen to 5 hours of us yammer on
Oh, I know. That's crazy. So, so we went, we did go shopping. After we got back from the park, it was late. Literally the park closed down and like, you got to get out of here. Um, we were leaving the park and we were getting back on the Skyliner to go back to our room. It's probably 8 o'clock at night. We're both hungry. We had not eat. So we were like, all right, we got to get something. And we had talked about going to the grocery store to get food and make sandwiches. You can bring sandwiches and drinks and chips and that kind of stuff into the park. They don't care. Matter of fact, you can go up to any window and say, I want a cup of ice, and they'll give you a cup of ice for free.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
So I found a Publix that was like 2 miles away, but it takes like 12 minutes to get there because of the weird way you have to drive to get out. Great Publix. We spent like less than $80, and that ended up feeding us salads and sandwiches and snacks for the whole time. We did buy a couple things in the park. Like we bought a Ronto wrap just to see what it was like. And then we had chips and drinks that were ours. So the Ronto wrap was the only cost we had. We tried a blue milk, which is not great, but we wanted to try it just to say we tried it. It had kind of a fruity taste. They do make it with alcohol. If you want to spend $15 for a blue milk with alcohol, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
They really missed the ball on that one because butterbeer at Hogwarts is a home run and blue milk is nasty. But budget wise, again, like we looked at it, and if we'd have signed up for the food plan like we normally have, that's about $700 a person, which sounds like a lot because it is a lot, because you have a quick meal every day and you have a sit down meal and you have snacks, and literally every time you turn around, it's time to eat again. And it's fine whenever we plan like really nice meals and we get to eat at a nice restaurant several times. But that's $1,400. And so doing it this way, we knew that we wanted to eat out one night, just us, just a really nice restaurant. And we sort of planned to go to Disney Springs. That's like a little area that's the old downtown Disney area where there's shopping and there's places to eat and that kind of stuff. So we went there and we ate at a place called Wine Bar George. It was really good. They serve like tapas type meals. They serve shareable meals. Like if you wanted to get a thing of flank steak, comes in a really long thing like this. Okay. And it, a sea bass, it's like that, a full sea bass that you could all eat out of.
They do family style dining.
Yeah. Or tapas. You get like little sides and you just share off of each little side and you pass it around and eat. So we just ordered 3 sides and 2 glasses of wine, and it was very nice. And it was our one expensive meal. But even with doing that, we spent less than $400 in food. So
that's much better than $700.
That's a win for a full week of food. I mean, on vacation in Disney, that's not bad.
And the fact is, Publix is a little bit more expensive than most grocery stores, so you spent a little bit more than you actually would have if you went to like a Harris Teeter or something like that.
Yeah, well, they didn't have any of those nearby, but yeah.
Publix is good. I'll tell you one thing though. Did you get them to make you a sub? Because their sub sandwiches are amazing.
No, we bought regular lunch meat and made our own sandwiches. I mean, that was actually our first meal when we got back to the room. Like, this sandwich is going to be great. And it was, because we were good and hungry. Some ham and turkey and cheddar and on some bread with mayonnaise and lettuce and some chips, and home run.
Sandwiches are always a home run.
Yeah. I mean, it was easy. So we did pack stuff for the parks. We did, share meals. Everything that we bought, we shared something. So like we bought like a cinnamon roll one day that was like the size of my face, and we shared it because, I mean, who needs to eat that much cinnamon roll by themselves? But we'd heard about it on this Disney food blog thing on YouTube, and it was like, yeah, let's try it. It looks really great. And it was great. We also had something called shortbread when we were at Epcot in Norway. Again, it was like the size of your face. It was like coconut toasted on top, and it had some kind of cream on the inside, and the cake was kind of like a donut. Again, a good shareable meal, just a snack kind of thing, but it was good. But yeah, total fun. While we were down at downtown Disney or whatever, we did go to World of Disney to do a little bit of shopping. We got each other a new coffee mug because we tend to drink more coffee here lately, and our coffee mug situation was getting low, and we were like, let's get a new one. Let's find a new one. So we found one. I got one with a little stormtrooper on it. He's got a little gun that says pew pew on it. It's kind of cute. Hers has Mickey Mouse. It's adorable. But that's when he saw the Darksaber, and I saw it and the Ezra Bridger lightsaber. His extends like it looks like a little box almost, like a squared off looking thing, like a D, because it's made to be a gun or the lightsaber, like you and I talked about.
Right.
And I couldn't play with it in the store because they had the battery thing with a little piece of paper in it, and I didn't want to take it out to ruin it for some kid. But I was like, I want to play with this so bad. But I saw the Darksaber and I was like, all right, I got to make a choice. I'm getting the Darksaber. So I got the Darksaber. So
I think you made a very, very wise decision, my friend.
We were leaving there and we're looking for shirts, and we couldn't find anything. Like, again, they kind of went hog wild with the Grogu stuff, but all of it was like super cheesy and super cheap looking. And I was like, you guys need like Imagineers to come up with better designs, because you're really missing the mark here. There's a lot of opportunity for you to sell more merch if you'd have thought about it, or it's probably like no planning involved. They were probably like, holy crap, this is actually popular. Like,
yeah, they just threw something together real quick. They didn't even try.
I could see some exec at Disney going, wait, this is a hit? I thought Favreau was just playing around with that stuff. You know? But yeah, so my wife talked to me about going over to the Lego place, and she was like, you know, let's go over there and take a look and see if they have any Star Wars stuff. And I was like, in my brain, I'm going,
oh yeah, Lego and Star Wars together. No, it's a win-win. Go ahead and bring it up. Oh dear God. I can't wait for the YouTube to put that together.
It's a Star Wars Millennium Falcon Lego.
Oh my God.
So again, 12-year-old me right now is like, wait, we get Legos and a girl? This is awesome. I thought we'd have to settle for one or the other. We get both? It was her idea. She was like, get the thing. I was like, okay. I was in shock. I was like, wait, what? Are you serious? So I don't know. Either I have cancer, or she's just feeling really generous, or she's like, you know, hey, it's content for your YouTube.
It's content. I mean, she did the same thing with the Slave One.
Right. Exactly. So I was like, well, okay. Now they had two. They had one that was bigger than my table. That one was $800, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no.
And then they had this one. This one was, I think, $159.
Okay.
And looking at the boxes, they looked almost similar. But I asked the guy when we got up to the front, I was like, what's the difference in the two? He goes, the one you got, I think he said was, 1,800 pieces or 1,800 pieces, something like that. And he said, that one is 4,700 pieces. I was like, oh. Okay. Well, that explains a lot. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I got a Millennium Falcon.
Well, now there's gonna be a YouTube video putting that one together.
Yes. Now, I have a question for you.
All right.
I had a couple thoughts, and I probably asked this on the podcast, and you were probably thinking about it as well. The masks, do you think that's going to help people's immune system or hurt it? Because you think about, without a mask, you're coming into contact with a lot of things, and you sort of build up immunities over time of getting sick. But if you're a kid, like in today's society, and you're wearing a mask constantly, and this is like our new normal forever, does it make you more susceptible to things that are worse as you get older?
I think it might, yes.
I want to ask Greg too, because Greg's, our medical expert, but I kind of want to know your opinion too.
Well, my opinion on it is this, and I think we did talk about this, but I don't think we talked about it on the podcast. But I do believe it is going to hurt some degree, but it's a long-term versus immediate trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my restaurant, we have to wear masks all the time. We have people have to wear masks to come into the restaurant. We do not require kids under the age of like 12 to force them to wear a mask. Okay.
Yeah, they had an intercom thing at Disney saying that if you're 3 or under, you should have a mask on, which it's hard to keep a 3-year-old to get a mask on, but I get the effort. But, again, that does raise that question. Also, there's a question of, will it make your lungs stronger? Because it's sort of like running with weights on, and when you take them off, is it the oxygen overload? Does that make your like two parts? Does it make your lungs work much easier? And it's like you're like, oh, I can breathe well, And also, we know that an influx of oxygen increases your mood. So when you take your mask off, suddenly you're in a better mood.
That's a very strong possibility. But what I think more of it is people who have like your frontline emergency people. I think they're the ones that are going to see that. I think the average person putting on a mask now you wore one constantly in Disney.
Yeah.
So
and that was rough.
So you see the prolonged. I have to wear it all day at work for like 7-8 hours. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I eat something, I go in the corner, I take it off, but I keep it on the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I take mine off, yes, I mean, there's a little bit of a rush of adrenaline kind of thing. But like people who like just put it on to go into stores and things like that, I don't think that's going to hurt your lungs or even help your lungs. I think that's just, preventative in general. But the people like grocery store workers who have to wear it all day long, or nurses who have to wear them all day long, I think those people, when they take it off, may see an increase in like endorphins and maybe also an increase in their lung strength.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see the long-term effects on stuff like that. But it also, like I told my wife, I said, let's buy a mask we want to wear. Like, let's find a design that we like. And so I found the Star Wars one, and she found one with Mickey Mouse on it, and the color that she wanted and the color I wanted. And I was like, there we go. We could just wear that. And it was fine.
You find something that you're comfortable with, it makes it a lot easier to wear it.
Yeah.
I mean, when this stuff first happened and I went to work and they gave us these little,
the paper ones
masks, I didn't really feel comfortable wearing them. They were light, they weren't, and then I went out and I bought my own, and it was much easier for me to wear it all the time at work versus, the little paper mask that they give me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a thought. I also had another thought, and this is a more of an existential kind of question, because we walked into a store that sold lightsabers and we're looking at lightsabers, and I sort of had the question of like, if you were to buy a lightsaber, which one would you buy? Like, they're expensive. You're looking in the case and just glancing at the prices of the real expensive ones. The cheapest one was like $139. And then if you go up to like Darth Maul, you got to buy two of them because they link together. So you're spending, $500 easily once you buy those, because you also have to buy the blades. The blades come in 3 different sizes. You get a 26, a 31, or a 42. And so each size blade, the longer they are, the more expensive they are. And I was like, okay, so this is like an investment. And if you're going to do that, you got to really take some consideration into what do I want to carry? Like, do I want to carry something like that? And I sort of thought about this, and I was like, I wonder who the people that I know and care about the most, if they were Star Wars characters, who would they be? So like I had this conversation with Deloris. I said, who would you be? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, I think you'd be one of the Republic people that just works for the good government job and the benefits, thinking, yeah, I got a good job at the Death Star. This is really great. Wait, what are these rebels here for? And suddenly you're blown up. And she's like, yeah, that's probably my fate. and I told her, I said, I don't want to sound weird or anything. I said, but I think I'm Obi Wan. And she was like, what? And I said, not like young Obi Wan, but like old Obi Wan when he's on Tatooine and just watching after Anakin and watching after Luke, and he has all these regrets about Anakin, and he's like fat and old and forgets the ways of the Force, but he's still like a teacher at heart, and he's still badass, but he's like, kind of an older badass. So I was like, I think maybe I'm an Obi Wan. And she was like, okay. And I was like, not to say that I'm like, have these grand ideas, but as much as I like Boba Fett is a bounty hunter, and he's all about profit and his own accountability and his own, he has no side. Like, there is no affiliation. There's no I'm good or I'm bad in him.
It's the job.
Right. So
Rodney's Boba Fett.
No, Rodney's the guy that works at the place that collects the bounty from whatever he's turning in. He's like, yeah, here's your money. Get out of here. Greg actually, I think, works for the Republic. I think that he's one of those guys that is secretly like for the light side, but he's like wearing the uniform and barking out commands, but he's also like helping you get out of jail,
He's Fulcrum.
Yeah. So I thought about you, and I thought for long, if I had this like conversation in my head, and I thought I could see Treadaway as like Mace Windu. Like, he's just badass enough that he could kill a bounty hunter, but he's also like super flawed in the fact that he never sees it coming when the bad guy shows up. And I started thinking about it. I was like, that'd be cool. I don't know. I guess it's because I could picture you with a purple blade, saying, I'm the bad,
Go there and get my lightsaber.
I just thought it'd be funny to hear you say stuff like that. So anyway, I had this in my head. And then as we're on the ride of Rise of the Resistance the second time, they have an animatronic of Hondo. And I was like, Treadaway's Hondo. He gets to be a space pirate and drink and hang out and have a good time. And he's like, yeah, sure, my buddy, what's up? Hey, I got the drink for you. We're going to have a good time. I'm like, Treadaway's totally Hondo. Holy cow. But I thought.
But Hondo was kind of backstabby in a friendly way. And I don't.
He never like intended anything to be wrong or do things on purpose, like maliciously. It was just like, hey, all fun and love and games, baby,
See, as a kid, I always played and I always wanted to be Han.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see Han Solo. Yeah,
that's
a possibility as well.
Everybody wanted to be Luke, and I was like, you can have Luke. I want to be Han. He's the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy.
I could see that. So anyway, it became like a fun game in my head of I want to ask people what they thought, who they should be, and who they thought I should be, or who they thought other people should be. Because I thought it'd be like a fun little thought experiment, if somebody was in the Star Wars like we are. And I thought, boy, this whole conversation in my head is no good unless Treadaway's sitting here with me.
I'm glad you thought of it, and I'm glad you brought it up. No, I definitely can see the Obi Wan thing. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it jumps in my head because I've told you many times since high school. It's like you took me under your wing, and I was kind of like your Padawan.
So, I said all that to say this.
You bought a lightsaber.
So you press this button.
You bought a lightsaber.
And this thing opens up. I got it.
You bought a lightsaber?
You open it up like this.
Oh my God.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah, but what's cooler is the lightsaber that was in it. Now show me the lightsaber.
So.
Holy dear Lord. Holy dear Lord. Oh my God.
Feel the power.
I'm speechless.
Look at the hilt. Like, this is really cool. Okay, so
I'm really so jealous right now.
Let me tell you about the thought process I had. I made a video about this, and I know you're going to watch the video, but I kind of wanted to tell you in person. So I'm looking at this case with all these lightsabers lined up. I dropped my little thing. Okay, I'm looking at this case with all these lightsabers lined up, and I see this like this. Okay, that's exactly how I see it. And I see this end, which looks like the Star Wars emblem, right? Mm-hmm. Sort of. I mean, that's part of their design.
The Imperial, yeah.
The Imperial, yeah. So also, the size of it fits my hand great. So I'm looking at the case, and I'm noticing it there. I was like, ooh, like I'm looking at Luke's, I'm looking at Rey's, I'm looking at the modified Skywalker, I'm looking at Darth Vader, Ventress, the Temple Guard has one. Right away, I'm thinking colors, Mace Windu's, his is there. There's a cartoon, The Clone Wars, where Yoda takes Ahsoka with younglings to a cave where they have to pick out their kyber crystals that speaks to them. And they have to find their power within them, and sort of the kyber crystal kind of determines the color of their lightsaber, and they sort of find their power in that process. And it's a selection process. And that moment, I'm sitting here in front of this stupid case, and I've got 1,000 thoughts like that going through my head. And my wife's like, we make good money. I mean, you could get one. And I was like,
you're like, who is this, and what did you do with my wife?
Now, after the Darksaber purchase and the Millennium Falcon, I thought, I have cancer. I know she's going to tell me. She's like, I didn't want to tell you, but like it's not going to be long. And I want you to be happy, because it's.
Oh my God.
So she's like, you could get one, and I was like, what? Who are you? What? So I'm trying to talk myself out of it while I'm looking in the case, and the lady at the case was like, you can hold them if you want. And I was like, what? She goes, I'll put a blade in. You can hold like 3 of them. I mean, we're supposed to like move people through here, but there's not many people right now. You can hold as many as you want to. And I was like, for real? So the first one I say is, can I hold Obi-Wan? So I held it in my hand and I thought, that fits. Like, that's my first thought. It fits my hand. She goes, let me put a blade in. I was like, we can put a blade in. She put the blade in and it glowed blue. And I was like, I was geeking out. And I'm like, what are all these buttons and stuff? And she goes, well, this one right here hooks onto your, if you want to wear it on your belt. And these are just, decoration or whatever. But I was like, that is so cool. So I wanted to look it over. I was like, that's really cool. I was like, do you have Ahsoka's blades? That was my second question. She goes, sold out. I was like, oh God, probably a good thing. Cause I would have probably jumped at that, because again, I'm thinking about, what does this mean? What does the blade mean? What does it mean if you own one? And which do you choose? Like, there's a part of me that says, if you choose Luke, you're choosing that, all perfect, good, innocent kid whose dad was the bad guy, supposedly, and he turned him, and, the whole story. If you pick something like Ventress, which is a really cool looking blade, I held it too. It's really heavy. It's long and curved. It's right. Very, very heavy. But let's face it, I look like Ventress's fat uncle, and I'm holding the blade. I'm like, this isn't it. I got to hold the Imperial Guards. The Imperial Guards, of course, is yellow. And I thought, it's sort of force neutral. They're not really in any like allegiance to anything, really. I mean,
right. They're like bodyguards.
Kind of, yeah. They guard the temple. Like, right. But also like Jedis and Sith, just stay away. Like, don't even try it. You know what I mean? And I thought, if Greg had to be a force user, he would be a temple guard, because he's like, no, this is it. This is what I stand for. You guys can get out. Like,
yeah.
He's sort of matter-of-factly like, I will kill everyone here. Just get out. So that was cool. The Mace Windu, though this part, the middle part where you put your hand, looks like it's made for someone who's over 6 foot tall, because it's giant. I mean, it's got lots of inner workings and things going on in the middle. And I was like, as fun as it would be to light up the purple one and use all of, Samuel Jackson's lines on screen with the stupid podcast, I was like, it's just not me. I mean, as much as I'll joke about it, and as funny as it is, I'm more like Obi-Wan. Because Obi-Wan, like, I started thinking about it. Obi-Wan is flawed in a lot of ways. I mean, yes, he like contends against Darth Maul and Grievous and Dooku and bests all of them. Even ends up beating Anakin, and in a way bests Darth Vader. I mean, he ultimate sacrifice. He's like, I'll live on even after death. And it's like,
I'll be stronger in death.
Yes, he totally takes it. And he's like, yeah, watch me ascend, bro. I mean,
no, I like I said, I totally see the whole Obi-Wan.
He's not pure good. Like, he knows about Anakin and Padme, and he just kind of like hides it. Like, he knows, you watch the movies, he knows this going on. Even in the cartoons, he kind of knows that this is going on. And he also has like a secret love affair with the Mandalorian queen, Satine. I mean, he was in love with her until Darth Maul killed her. I mean, spoiler alert if anybody hasn't seen that. But so then I started thinking about the fact of like, all of this is happening within a matter of like 30 seconds in my brain. Okay. My wife has no idea the level at which I'm in hyperdrive in my brain, just going like, I hear whistling going on. Just, he's on Tatooine watching after Luke at the same time that Boba Fett is there crawling out of the Sarlacc pit, or out of the dragon's mouth, the crate dragon, and is going to have some kind of interaction with Boba Fett. In one of their stories, there's going to be a flashback where they meet and somehow interact, because we never see Obi-Wan relinquish his lightsaber. We never see him not have it in his hands. When we see him in the Force, in A New Hope, he has Anakin's and he gives it to Luke. He doesn't have his own. Does he?
Yes, he does.
He does, because he fights Vader with it. That's right.
And okay. It drops. Vader takes it.
Yeah. Okay. So he does have it. But anyway, he's got to have an interaction with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's got to be there with Boba Fett as some kind of something, because Boba Fett's going to come out of it, and immediately he's thinking that Luke and Han put me in this hole, Well, no.
Well, right.
Hang on, time wise.
No. Timeline. Obi Wan was gone by the time he went to the Sarlacc pit.
Okay. I'm thinking too far back. Okay.
Yeah,
I got the timeline all screwed up. Right now, people that are Star Wars fans are like, "You idiot."
We lost Obi Wan in New Hope, and it was Return of the Jedi.
You're right.
That Boba Fett goes into the Sarlacc.
You're right. I totally got that wrong. Okay.
Sorry, but you're right. We're probably going to see some kind of interaction with someone. Like like you said, you saw the jet. You showed the picture of the last thing that he saw before he went to the pit was Luke with his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Now Luke has Grogu, and it's all in the same timeline. And there's a very strong possibility that we will see a Boba Fett and Luke matchup.
Yeah.
And how does Boba Fett react, and how does Luke react? Now Luke is a full-on Jedi now, so he's not really. I don't think he's going to have any reaction. Boba Fett might have a little bit of animosity.
He's gonna have some hard feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's just awesome.
The color is so vibrant. I mean, Jesus, it's so.
The whole screen lit up when you lit it up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the backdrop actually is really cool. It almost looks like a black light. Literally, it almost looks like a black light picture. You got to check that out when you look.
I have.
It lights it up like a black light picture.
I made a video with an Instagram-y photo of me in the dark because I did it at like 6 a.m. this morning. I turned the lights off and I was talking to the thing and I did that and it lit my like this with everything. Like you can't even see this behind. You could barely see that stuff behind me. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. So yeah, I'm a dork.
Now you just need a case where you can, Alexa, turn on my saber.
Yeah. She's actually talking to you in the background.
Yeah, she was.
I'd love to be able to just reach out my hand and it flies to my hand. That'd be cool. That might be an upgrade. But anyway, I was super dorking out and I was just like, I can't believe that I get to do all this crap at this age. If 12-year-old me could see me now.
Oh, I've see, the thing is, I've never really wanted to go to Disney as much as everybody's talked about it. But now, put the case away, please.
It's so pretty. Even the case.
I know it's so pretty.
Even though it's plastic.
I want to drive to Florence and hold it.
Even though it's plastic.
I want to drive to Florence and hold it.
This in here is like soft and felt, and
I'm going to get in my car and be there in about 2 hours.
It's so nice. Oh, it's even got instructions on the back of how to do the batteries. So I need to know that. That's important. Okay. That's good to know. But yeah, so I'm a dork.
You're a dork. I'm right there with you because I would have every one of those things if I could as well.
I didn't find any shirts that I liked. While we were in the Galaxy's Edge area, there were people walking around with Black Spire t-shirt, and I don't know, they're supposed to call this area Batuu, but then they also call it the Black Spire Outpost, and they also call it Galaxy's Edge. I'm not sure what the name's supposed to be, but there was Black Spire t-shirts for sale. I looked at the price of them. They wanted $40 for a t-shirt. I was like, no, sir. No, thank you. I'm outie. I walked out of there.
They're price gouging all those geeks.
They are. I mean, my wife, before we went on the trip, I think it was around Christmas time, she found a blue shirt. I wear it on here a couple times. It's got the Millennium Falcon over here on the belly, and then on the back it says Galaxy's Edge. It's very soft. I think she got it on Disney's website for like $13 on clearance because they were just like, yeah, nobody's buying this. And I told her, I said, if you find stuff like that, get that. I don't mind $13 t-shirts. I'm not buying a $40 t-shirt. Forget it.
Right. That's how I am as well.
Yeah. I mean, I go through t-shirts like crazy. I mean, I'm notorious for spilling stuff on me with like any meal. We keep shouting in the house just for me because like I'll take a bite and she's like, "You got something?" I'm like, oh, God, every time.
That's how Chrissy. Every time we like, she has a day off on Wednesdays. She likes to go to Mexican food.
Yeah.
And I always have to remind her, yes, it's your day off, and I know you want to dress up, but we're going to eat Mexican food. You're going to spill salsa on you.
Yeah.
Don't put on the shirt you like.
Holy cow, my phone's blowing up. What the hell? Oh. So Dolores started her new job today.
Did she at Nucor?
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about them for working for them. I mean, even back in the day when I lived there, long time ago, people were like, staying there till retirement.
Yeah. So it's a lot less money than she's used to making, but also that's sort of a good thing because when you make more money, they require more of you. And let's face it, going from selling shipments in the trucking industry to going to selling a product is a totally different thing. I told her, I said, years ago, you made a comment that you were working for a company that was falling apart. And you said it's very hard to sell things that you don't believe in. I said, here's a company that's one of the top steel manufacturers in the world. This is going to be a very easy product to sell. You're basically just looking at margins and how to sell to somebody. And that's going to be a very easy sell comparably.
And my guess is with her business acumen and her knowledge, she starts lower, gets the knowledge of the product, and then she will eventually be making that money that she was making.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of people don't know, she's been doing sales now for, oh God, quite a while. It's got to be close to 20 years of sales. And I've seen her sell sand to the beach. Literally. Myrtle Beach has ordered sand to be delivered, and she's figured out the shipment so that it's profitable for them to ship sand to the beach. She's that level of salesperson. I mean, it goes beyond that, but I've seen her do stuff like that. I'm like, how did you talk them into that? She's like, I'm just that good. And she is. She's just that good. And so I think this is going to be great for her. I'm really excited for her to have an opportunity with a great company. Like you said, it is one of those companies that it doesn't matter what you do there. Almost everybody you talk to who goes to work there retires from there. So the hiring process is very intense. There's a lot of steps to jump through. She said that for the health and drug screening, they do they take hair samples because they can go back a year. And if you don't have enough hair on your head, apparently they get it off your body somewhere, your arms, your chest, wherever. But she had a background investigation. While we were on our trip, we had to log in online and do something for the Department of Justice because they also make steel for the Department of Justice. They have contracts with lots of companies around here, Sunoco and Volcraft and all that stuff. I mean, so it's a good opportunity for the good company. Matter of fact, I was talking to Draven about it, and up there where Draven lives near Seattle, he said that that's actually their second biggest industry up there. They have Boeing, which is their home plant right there, but then they have Nucor Steel is up there also. He's like, this area up here that's two of the biggest companies in this area. I was like, really? Holy cow, that's awesome. So I know they're big. I mean, I know from when I worked at Coke, I had to read this book called Good to Great, and it talks about. It's a very boring book, but it's very helpful because it sort of breaks down the mentality of a lot of industry. A lot of companies make this book mandatory reading because it helps them figure out how to move forward in their company's ideas to be better. It's literally this big. I mean, it's really tiny, little red book. One of the chapters is about Nucor Steel wanting to compete in the steel industry, and they can't compete with Pittsburgh or Philly Steel or Detroit Steel. So they decide to go out in the farm area where farmers are, because farmers are used to working their butts off day and night. They're comfortable working all day. They just want better pay. So the steel industry basically moved to where farmers are. They hired farmers to do the job. 5 farmers could do the work of 10 normal steel workers. You pay them like 7. The farmers are happy because they've never made better money in their life. The steel company's making way more money because they're having to pay 3 less people, and they get a better product because these guys are so happy that they're getting a good job that they'll work and be dependable and show up all the time and work their butts off because they want to keep the job. It was a win-win across the board, and it was what made Nucor better than a lot of other steel companies out there, because suddenly they had a better product from people who had pride in their job. Whereas the union workers were just showing up being like, yep, guess I'm here now. I mean,
I get it. And like I said, I've known since I was in high school, Nucor was a great plant to work for, a place to work for.
Yeah.
I mean, even your frontline, like line workers, they stay there for careers and retire and only have that job their whole life.
Yeah. So
they're well. They take care of their employees very well. In other words, is what I understand.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Deloris. She deserves it. I'm glad she's working with a company that really cares about their people.
Yep. I'm happy for her. I told her, I said, this is an entry level job. It's sales. You know how to do sales. All sales positions pay out some kind of bonus program. I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll be happy. I was like,
yeah.
she'll
move up quick because she has ambition.
Well, even if she don't, it means less responsibility and less stress. It means that her phone isn't ringing 24 hours a day like it did before. So
well, maybe she'll like that.
I'll be fine with that. Like between the two of us, we're okay. We're fine. Yay. So.
Well, good. And you're
good.
You're hopefully getting ready to go back to work in about a month or two.
Yeah. So March 4th is when I go back. They're supposed to do some digital imaging of the eye and map out the good eye as well to kind of find a comparison. Now that the stitches have gone out. Okay, so this is really cool. I have a weird superpower that may be a cause of the medicine that I'm having to put in, the drops that I'm putting in. And I'm sort of been thinking about this. I want to ask Greg because he's kind of our medical expert. But right now I'm putting in drops for I put in this steroid drop once a day, and then I put in this other drop that has something to do with fighting infection, like it's antibacterial type drop. And then I have a drop that keeps the eye partially dilated all the time. Now, the partially dilated part is what I think does this. When we were on rides in the dark, I could see ultraviolet light with this eye, like a glowing aura beacon, like it was Supernatural, the TV show.
Yeah.
Like a completely dark room. And I was like, look at that purple light. And my wife's like, what purple light? I'm like, you don't see that? That's so bright. And she's like, I don't see nothing. And it could be pointing away from us, but this eye would pick it up like it was a glowing beacon of purple. And I was like, this is so trippy. And she was like, what? And I was like, all these rides have so much ultraviolet, like lights hidden away to add accent lights here and there. I can see every one of them with this eye. And I was like, why am I able to do that? And I was like, is it because of the damage? Is it because the thing is being repaired? It didn't have a lens. And then as I thought about it, I thought maybe it's because the eye is partially dilated. It does make that pupil stay open wider so that maybe it just brings in that light a little easier. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
A little more sensitive to it, possibly.
Yeah. I told her, I said, if it's a superpower, it's the lamest superpower ever because it does nothing for me.
No, my superpower is the lamest superpower ever. I can pick out the best avocado in the whole grocery store.
That's actually a little useful because that's hard to find sometimes.
That's what Chrissy says. I think it's useless, but she loves it because she loves avocado that much. So when I go home, when I go to the store and I come back with avocado, she's excited because she knows it's going to be the perfect ripeness.
I gotta say, I'm on her side on this. I think that's a good thing to have. Okay. Mine does nothing.
Really cool. You get to see really cool lights, man.
No, it does nothing. Like so like I told her, I said, if I could paint, like this would be really cool paintings that I could paint. I could like mimic, like I could open this eye and look at it and this eye and paint it. And maybe I could make something and somebody goes, oh, that's really pretty. I'm like, yeah, it's what I see. I mean, but I don't have any of that ability. So still, it's the lamest superpower ever. So I'm sure it has something to do with the drops.
Well, you got an origin story. You know how the eye happened. And
yeah. Yeah, my dad asked me.
You know how your superpower came to be.
After I got injured, Dad said, did you get any superpowers? I was like, from baling wire? He's like, yeah, you kind of want an accident to happen. I said, I think it has to be radioactive. He's like, oh yeah, there's that. I said, in all the superhero stories, it was some kind of radioactive. He's like, yeah, I guess it's just regular metal. I was like, yeah.
Okay. So quickly, while we're speaking about radioactive.
Yeah.
How happy are you that you waited WandaVision out?
I'm very happy. I watched episode 5 this morning. Have you seen episode 5?
I have.
Okay. So, episode 4 totally redeemed the first 3. Episode 4 finally showed us what all of the hidden stuff was and why it was so weird looking in the first 3 episodes. Plus, we get the reintroduction of several characters from the Marvel Universe that we'd seen as tertiary characters, now becoming more of a B-line or A-line actor in the series. Agent Wu I always thought was really funny, and I'm glad to see him back. The chick from Thor, I mean, I'm glad to see her back too. She's great. She's great. Episode 5 was a good reveal. And it also had me asking more questions. Like I watched enough online to know that Wanda and Vision do have twin boys that do end up growing up to be superheroes of their own right. They had their own comic book thing. And there was a question about, are they following this path to create these characters? Is she completely bringing them back? In episode 5, I mean, we see Vision become self-actualized and sort of tap out some people to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts questioning her, and it makes him afraid of her in a way. And I don't think that's gone. Like the way the episode ended, you sort of understand through the episode that she somehow retrieved his body and then was able to reanimate him somehow.
Yeah.
Now, how, I have no idea.
No, they haven't gotten to that yet.
I'm sure that's coming.
But now then the teaser at the end of the actual episode with Quicksilver showing up.
Her brother.
Well, yes, but
recast as someone else.
Recast. It's Quicksilver from X-Men United.
Okay.
It's Magneto's son.
Really?
That's Magneto's son, Quicksilver. That's recast as her brother. Now, I think Sword sent him in.
Interesting.
He's fast, just like her brother was, so they could throw her off.
Interesting.
Because she completely lost control at the end of the episode. She didn't know, like, I didn't do this.
Right. It was unplanned. Like that was the one thing. I love the conversation she's having with him. She's like, "You think I'm in control of this? Making everyone go to their dentist appointments and walk their dog and do this and that." That's just crazy. And I'm like, you're totally doing all of that. Like,
and then you're thinking about it. Wow, she really is doing all of that.
Yeah. Oh man, I love the role of the neighbor too, who's like, "I got my line wrong. I'll start over." She's like looking at her like, "Are you doing this right now? Seriously?" And Vision's like, "What's going on?" And she starts right over, and she's like, "What? Nothing happened."
Yep. But yeah, so I'm obviously I'm addicted to it anyway. I even liked the first couple episodes. I didn't need the validation on the third or fourth.
Oh, I did.
I know I had a few friends like that, and I told them, I said, "Look," I said, I even told you on the podcast. I said, "I think it's coming. I really do. I see little hints here and there, but I'm okay with what it is because of the way it's going to go down. I didn't see it going down this way, but I knew something was going to come up."
This was, if I remember right, this was Kathleen Kennedy's project, and I was like, okay, Favreau's taking his hands off the wheel. He's all Star Wars now, and this is her going bonkers and totally missing the mark. But I was wrong. I was totally wrong. So, good job, Kathleen. You redeemed yourself.
All right. So now we spoke of that. How about let's speak of that horrible, horrible, horrible show last night.
The Tom Brady show.
The Tom Brady, yeah. They should name it the Tom Brady Bowl because that's all the NFL wants.
Well, that's what the victory formation is. It's the Brady formation.
I mean, that's literally what the NFL wants. If Brady's in the Super Bowl, they're going to make every which way for him to win.
Plus, it's a totally different game with Mahomes injured. You could tell he was really hurting.
And I think the first few rushes that he had to do out in the pocket hurt him a little bit too.
They talked about the fact that they had 2 linemen down that were star, Pro Bowl quality linemen, and they had to move a lot of people around. And this was the first game that a lot of those guys were playing different positions and trying a totally new scheme. I mean, that ultimately hurt them the most. I think a full-powered a full-powered Kansas City versus Tampa Bay that was last night would have been a much closer game.
Well,
but
KFC is more like what they were yesterday. They were fried.
Right. They were having a really hard time. And kudos to Tampa Bay's defense for locking down Tyreek Hill because he set them on fire in Game 12.
He was non-existent last night.
Game 12, he had 269 yards. I mean,
and he didn't. I think he touched the ball 4 times last night.
They totally locked him down. Yeah,
they were. I don't know his name, and I just woke up this morning. Number 54 for Tampa was in every single play.
Yeah.
The screen, if the ball was in someone's hand, he was in the screen.
Davis. Yeah, he was everywhere. He got torched in Game 12, and they talked about, the coach really worked on him and, told him, said, you gotta play more aggressive. You gotta be in their face. You gotta use your strength Don't let them bully you. Like they talked about it. I mean, I did have a funny little joke as I'm watching it. I told Deloris, I said, I don't even know how to tweet this the right way, but this is actually Tony Romo's first star appearance in the Super Bowl. Who would have thought they'd have seen him do so well in the Super Bowl? I mean, I kept trying to rephrase it in ways that were funny to me. I was like, I don't know if anybody even appreciate this. I mean, but he did a great job announcing. I mean, I was really glad with that. You know,
he's a great analyst. I mean, I don't like,
and he's funny. Like
but his analyst, he should be a coach.
He knows the plays are coming. He's like, I'd be looking for so and so here. They're probably going to run it, and there's a running play. Like, oh, there you go.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he predicts the plays. He predicts the defenses. I mean, it really is amazing that like he was as awful as a quarterback as he was for the playoffs for those horrible Cowboys teams, which I'm happy for because I don't like to see it good. But his knowledge, is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess they had an appearance by Peyton Manning on the field for the induction into the Hall of Fame. He's going to be first ballot, selected in, obviously. So I guess at halftime they had a thing where they were all out on the field and he was there, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, that's all right. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, it's Peyton.
Get a couple legends there. It's pretty dang cool. So I don't know. It was fun. It was fun to watch the commercials. Although there were a lot of really cringeworthy commercials. Especially there's one with Ashton Kutcher and his wife in a weird commercial where they were doing "It Wasn't Me" song dubbed in, and she's eating the snacks everywhere, and there's cheese dust everywhere, and he's like, "Were you eating it? It wasn't me." And I was like, "This is so stupid." There's a lot of actors that are out of work, and almost all of them were employed in the commercials. I mean,
well, I heard that a lot of the bigger companies pulled out of the commercials for the Super Bowl and donated money for vaccine trials and things like that, or some other kind of good charity.
I'd seen a commercial, or I'd seen a thing pop up on the internet saying that this was going to be the first year since like '82 since Budweiser pulled out of the Super Bowl, and I was like, really? But then I saw Budweiser commercials, like, oh, it's like the Bud name, it's Bud Light, Ultra. Okay, I get it. So whatever. I mean, I know for a long time they really tried to hang on to the flagship to promote it, and it's like, yeah, but why? Like nobody's really drinking this that much. I mean, everything's now moving towards craft beers, and everything's moving to lighter beers, lighter carb beers, the seltzers. I mean, that's kind of the push.
Yeah. That's actually part of the reason why I got out of the business of selling beer for a Budweiser, because they didn't understand that. All my money was tied up in selling Budweiser products.
Yeah.
And at the time, they were inferior products.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say that Budweiser is bad. I mean, there's a time where
there's people who love it.
I mean, there's a taste for everybody, and there's been a time in my life where I'm like, give me the big red diesel, baby. Let's pound it. I mean,
oh, don't get me wrong, but Bud Light alone paid my bills.
Yeah. They used to ask us when I worked there, they said, how can we get Budweiser to sell better? I said, paint it blue.
I mean, literally.
We could trick people into it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just popularity of the brand is what it is. And so.
Well, they tried they tried the whole patriotism last 2 summers ago when they changed the Budweiser can into an American flag.
The red, white, and blue, yeah. And I'm sure some rednecks around here bought it.
Wasn't working. Once they realized that wasn't working, then they tried the Budweiser Jim Beam mashup.
Yeah. Which is a horrible idea.
Right. So I think they finally realized, and then when seltzers took off, they jumped on that bandwagon real fast.
Well, they needed to, because even White Claw didn't even understand how popular their brand was going to be.
Right.
They were like, holy cow, we caught lightning in a bottle.
they got the platinum seltzer now.
Yeah.
7% alcohol.
Yeah, I don't like any of them. I've tried them. The only one I actually like is we buy a brand called Truly. And
Truly,
it tastes good. It actually tastes decent. It tastes like a soft drink almost. I mean,
see, Chrissy likes the White.
I think
Claws.
It's Truly. No, what is the name of that stuff? I got to look it up. I took Press.
Yes. You told me about the Press one because it's got like natural flavors and and it's I remember you talking about the Press one because you saw those at a friend's pool party, right?
Yeah, they just happened to bring some home from Ohio. They were like, we tried a couple of these. They were good, so we brought some here so you could try them. And I was like, This is actually pretty tasty. I mean,
yeah, last time I was at your house, we talked about that because the girls were going to a Florida trip and they were trying to find some when they come back.
Now I've been to Greg's house and Greg drinks anything that tastes awful. Like doesn't matter what it is. If it's carbonated, farts, he's like, this is really good. I'm like, there's something wrong with your taste buds, man. I mean, really, come on. It's really healthy for you. I'm like, shut up. I don't even want to be healthy. I'd rather be overweight. But anyway, it's all good. Yeah. So.
Well, I hate to cut this a little short right now after that real abruptly, but my dog is barking like crazy and it's going to make my neighbors go nuts. And my neighbor does not like dogs.
Okay.
So I got to let her in. And when I let her in, she's going to run around. So I'm probably going to go ahead and just call this. Stop it. Okay.
I'm not, it's not lightsaber shaming. It's sharing.
It's sharing.
Sharing is caring.
I told you I'll be at your door in 2 hours. I'm letting the dog in. I'm jumping in the shower so I don't stink when I get there. I got to make sure I take care of the dragon, and then I'm coming over.
Listen, I'm thinking the Ezra Bridger is going to be the next one to get, because that's it. If they make one like this in an Ezra Bridger, that's going to be the new one to get. That one and Ahsoka's. I mean, I could have like a collection.
You got to have the two.
You could do like a collection behind me,
Yeah.
Or on your board behind you. You could like have.
Yeah, that would never happen. Chrissy would never let it happen. This is her baby right here. She loves this thing.
Not if you were Mace Windu. You tell her, look here, woman. I'm Mace Windu.
Yeah, I'm Han Solo. I know the princess runs the house.
Well, you get some blasters. That'd be kind of cool. Because Han shot first.
Oh, he even said so.
Yeah. So I went back before we took the trip. I watched the Han Solo movie like 3 times before we went on the trip. So I was like super geeking out when we got there.
I am definitely obviously going to have to watch the YouTubes and the teaser.
It's almost 2:00. So the video with that comes up at 2:00.
It's about teaser for the 2:00 as well. Yeah. So I'm probably going to go watch that as well.
Yeah. I appreciate you doing this. I know you're busy. I do want to end this with one thought. Lando is coming out.
Yes.
They're going to have an origin story for the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
It dawned on me while I was there. I was like, I hadn't even thought about that.
If they're doing an origin story, yeah. If Lando's involved, that's where the Millennium Falcon comes into the story.
Yep.
So, there will be a Millennium Falcon origin story. We'll have to geek out. We'll geek out on that when it comes out.
I just thought I'd share my thought and then I'd bounce. So I love you, buddy. Appreciate you doing this. Man. All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. Hit that like button. It does help the podcast succeed. And as always, you want to do it?
Cue the cow.
I want you guys to give me more likes. Give me